You think pain makes you weak, don't you? They made you believe that. They told you that suffering breaks people, that loss destroys them, that if you go through enough hell, you won't come out the same. And you know what? They were right. You're not the same. You're something else, something darker, something stronger. Because while they were busy laughing at your downfall, you were walking through fire. They thought the flames would consume you, that the pain would be too much, that you'd shatter under the weight of it all. But you didn't. You stood in that fire and let it burn everything weak out of you. You let the suffering strip you to your bones. And when you walked out, you were unrecognizable. They want you to react. That's the game. That's the trick. They want you to break, to lash out, to lose yourself in rage. They want you to fight so they can say, "Look, see? They're just like us. They're nothing special." Because the truth terrifies them. The truth that after everything, after the betrayals, after the losses, after the nights you spent drowning in your own thoughts, you didn't just survive, you evolved. You became something they can't define, something they can't predict, something they can't control. Do you know what people fear the most? It's not a loud enemy. It's not someone who screams or fights back. Number, they fear the one who stays silent, the one who doesn't react. Because silence, it's unpredictable, it's dangerous. Silence means you're thinking, watching, calculating. It means you know something they don't. And nothing is more terrifying than an enemy who sees through the illusion, who understands the game, but refuses to play it. You're not the person they once knew, that version of you, the one who cared what they thought, the one who wanted to prove something, the one who wasted energy on meaningless battles. That person is dead. They killed them. And now they're dealing with what they created. A version of you that doesn't seek approval, that doesn't waste time explaining, that doesn't hesitate. A version of you that knows exactly what you are. And that scares them. See, they expected you to break. That was the plan. They thought if they pushed hard enough, if they tore you down piece by piece, you'd lose yourself. But what they never understood is that people like you don't break. You burn. You adapt. You learn. And now you're the one they whisper about. Now you're the name they don't say out loud. Now when you walk into the room, they feel it. That presence, that weight, that silent, unshakable power. They don't know what happened to you. They just know that the fire didn't destroy you. It built you. They want you to go back. Back to the old you. The one who doubted. The one who apologized for existing. The one who second-guessed every move. But you're not going back, because you remember. You remember every night you spent fighting demons no one could see. You remember what it felt like to have nothing left but the sheer force of will. You remember what it took to pull yourself out of the darkness. And you're never going back. Because now you know what you are. And so do they. That's why they fear you. Not because you're loud, not because you're angry, but because you don't need to prove anything anymore. Because you don't fight battles that don't matter. Because you don't seek revenge. You don't seek validation. You seek nothing. And that makes you untouchable. You walked through fire. And now you're the one they fear. They want you to believe that power comes from force, that the loudest voice wins, that if you scream long enough, fight hard enough, prove yourself over and over again, the world will finally see your worth. But real power, it isn't found in anger, it's found in silence. The moment you stopped explaining yourself, they started to panic. The moment you stopped reacting, they started watching you closely. Because silence isn't weakness. Silence is control. Silence forces people to face themselves, to hear their own doubts, their own fears, their own insecurities, without your distraction. You see, they wanted your rage. They wanted you to lash out, to lose your mind, to become the villain in their story. Because as long as you were reacting, you were playing their game. But when you chose silence, when you walked away without a word, that's when they realized you are no longer playing. People fear what they don't understand. Right now, they don't understand you. Because the old you, they had a map for that version. They knew how to manipulate that version. They knew how to trigger that version. But this version of you, this version is unreadable. And unreadable means unpredictable. And unpredictable means dangerous. Let's talk about the mind. The human mind is designed to seek patterns, to predict reactions, to control outcomes. And when they can't predict you, it drives them insane. When they throw words at you, but you don't respond. When they push your buttons, but you don't flinch. When they do everything in their power to get a reaction and get nothing, their own mind turns against them. Because the silence you give them, it forces them to question everything. They will wonder, did they win? Did they lose? Are you planning something? Are you gone for good? Are you watching them from the shadows, waiting for the right moment? They don't know. And that uncertainty will haunt them more than any words ever could. That's the psychological trick no one tells you. You don't need to fight wars to destroy your enemies. You just need to make them destroy themselves. Let me tell you a story. There were once two men. Both were betrayed. Both were humiliated. Both were thrown into the fire. The first man, he fought back immediately. He shouted. He retaliated. He let his emotions take over. He made enemies. He lost control. And in the end, he lost everything. Second man, he did nothing. Not at first. He sat in silence. He watched. He calculated. He let time do what time always does, reveal the truth. And while everyone thought he had lost, he was rebuilding in the shadows. By the time they realized what had happened, it was too late. He had already won. Because he understood something the first man never did. Revenge isn't about reacting. Revenge is about waiting. That's what you did. You waited. You let them underestimate you. You let them believe you were gone. But now you're back, and they don't know what to do with that. You want to know why they're scared of you. Because you don't need them anymore. You don't need their validation. You don't need their approval. You don't need their permission. You don't need anything. That makes you the most dangerous person in the room. Because people can control those who seek something from them. But someone who needs nothing, they can't be controlled. They can't be bought. They can't be manipulated. They can only be feared. They used to talk about you, laugh at you, dismiss you. But now, they speak your name in whispers. Not because you fought back, not because you screamed louder, but because you became something they never expected. Someone who doesn't break, someone who doesn't beg, someone who doesn't react. You walked through fire, and now you're the one they fear. Let me tell you about a man who gave everything, a man who built, who sacrificed, who trusted. And then, he lost it all. Not because he was weak, not because he made a mistake, but because the world doesn't reward kindness. It punishes it. At first, he couldn't understand. He kept asking himself, why? Why would they betray him? Why would they lie? Why would they turn on him when he had done nothing but give? But the more he asked, the more he realized it didn't matter. Because why doesn't change what? And what had already happened? He was left with nothing. No friends, no security, no safety net. Just the weight of his own shattered expectations. You know what happens to a man when he has nothing left. He either breaks, or he transforms. And this man, he chose transformation. He stopped asking why. He stopped looking for explanations. Instead, he started watching, observing, learning. The people who had wronged him, they weren't stronger than him. They were just colder. They were just sharper. And so he became colder. He became sharper. And soon, the very people who had once laughed at him began to fear him. Because when you go through real pain, two things happen. First, it destroys you. It wipes out everything weak inside you. Every illusion, every false hope, every naive belief that people will be fair. And second, it builds you, but not in a gentle way. Not in a way that feels comforting or inspiring. Number, it builds you like fire builds steel, by burning everything that doesn't belong, by making you something indestructible. And once that process is complete, you don't fit into the world the way you used to. You become different. That's why they don't recognize you anymore. People who knew you before, they keep looking at you like you're a stranger. Because in their minds, you should be the same. You should still care about what they think. You should still be desperate for their approval. But you're not. Because the fire changed you. Now, you don't care if they understand. You don't care if they approve. You don't care if they accept you. You don't need anything from them anymore. That's what makes them uncomfortable. That's why they whisper when you walk by. That's why they can't look you in the eye. Because deep down, they know. They helped create this version of you. And now, they regret it. See, people think regret only comes from making the wrong decisions. But the worst kind of regret, it comes from underestimating someone. From thinking they would always be weak. From assuming they would never rise. And now, they have to live with that. They have to live with the fact that they threw you into the fire. And instead of breaking, you became something they could never handle. Someone they could never control. Someone they fear. Let them fear you. Let them feel the weight of their mistake. Because the truth is, you owe them nothing. Not an explanation. Not a conversation. Not a single second of your time. They made their choice, and now they live with the consequences. You walked through fire, and now you're the one they fear. You were never weak. You were always becoming. The difference is, back then you didn't see it. Back then, you thought your pain was breaking you. You thought the world was against you. You thought that every loss, every betrayal, every setback was a sign that you weren't meant to win. But now you understand. It was never breaking you. It was shaping you. You don't get strong by winning. You don't get powerful by being comfortable. You get powerful by losing everything and standing back up. By walking through fire and not running from it. By facing the storm, taking the hit, and still moving forward. The moment you realize that, everything changed. Because now, you don't run from pain. You embrace it. You don't fear struggle. You welcome it. Because pain isn't the enemy. Pain is the greatest teacher you will ever have. And that's what they don't understand. They think you should be the same person you were before. But that version of you, it doesn't exist anymore. It died the moment you stopped looking for approval. It died the moment you stopped explaining yourself. It died the moment you realized you never needed them in the first place. Now you only need one thing. Yourself. And that's real power. Not the kind that comes from money. Not the kind that comes from status. Not the kind that can be taken away. The kind that's built in the dark. The kind that's forged through suffering. The kind that can't be broken, no matter what they throw at you. Because you've already survived their worst. You've already walked through the hell they sent your way. And you came out the other side stronger than they ever imagined. That's why they fear you now. Not because you're angry. Not because you're loud. But because you don't care anymore. You don't seek revenge. You don't seek validation. You don't seek to prove anything. You simply exist in your own power. And that terrifies them. Because people can fight anger. They can argue with words. They can control those who still care. But someone who moves in silence. Someone who knows their worth. Someone who doesn't react. That's someone they can't control. And what they can't control, they fear. You've seen their games. You've watched how they operate. They manipulate. They lie. They twist the truth to fit their narrative. And before, you used to fight back. You used to try and prove yourself. You used to think if you just explained things the right way, they would finally understand. But now you understand something far more powerful. You don't need to fight them. You just need to outlast them. Because time always exposes the truth. And the truth is, you were always the strong one. They tried to break you. But in the end, they only built something stronger. Someone more dangerous. Someone they never saw coming. Because you don't play by their rules anymore. You don't dance to their music. You don't chase after things that don't serve you. You are not the same person they once knew. And that scares them. Because now when you walk into a room, they feel it. The weight of your presence. The energy that surrounds you. the unshakable power of someone who has nothing to prove. And the best part, you don't even have to say a word. Because silence is power. Let them talk, let them whisper, let them wonder. Because the truth is, they already know they lost. They lost the moment you stopped reacting. They lost the moment you stopped needing their approval. They lost the moment you became untouchable. You walked through fire. Now you're the one they fear. Look at yourself. Look at everything you've been through. Every scar, every betrayal, every moment of doubt. You should have broken. They thought you would break. They bet on it. They were counting on you to give up, to fade away, to become just another story of failure. But you didn't. And that is why they fear you now. Because people are comfortable with the weak. They expect people to fail. They expect them to fold under pressure, to beg for acceptance, to run back the moment things get hard. But you did the opposite. You disappeared. You went silent. And while they thought you were broken, you were rebuilding. Stronger, colder, smarter. You walked through the fire and didn't just survive. You transformed. And now, when they look at you, they don't recognize what they see. Because you're no longer a victim. You're a force. See, they expected your pain to destroy you. But pain is a sculptor. It carves away everything that isn't necessary. It strips you down, removes the weakness, and leaves behind only what is unbreakable. And that's what you've become. You are unbreakable. And the moment you realize that, everything changed. Because now you don't flinch. Now you don't explain yourself. Now you don't react the way they want you to. And that silence, that composure, that calm power, it shakes them. Because they don't know what's coming next. They don't know what you're thinking. They don't know if you're planning something or if you've already won. And the unknown is terrifying. Let them be afraid. Let them sit with their regret. Let them wonder if they made the biggest mistake of their lives by underestimating you. Because they did. They did. Now here's the truth. You don't need revenge. You don't need to prove them wrong. You don't need their apologies. Because the real victory, it isn't found in proving a point. It's found in becoming untouchable. The old version of you. The one that cared too much. The one that waited for validation. The one that wanted people to understand. That version is gone. And in its place stands someone unstoppable. Someone who doesn't chase. Someone who doesn't beg. Someone who doesn't waste time on battles that don't matter. Because you don't fight for attention anymore. You don't fight for approval anymore. You fight for your future, for your vision, for your purpose. And that is the greatest power you will ever hold. Because when you reach this level, the level where you no longer care about the noise, the doubts, the distractions, nothing can stop you. Because you have already faced the worst. You have already survived what they thought would end you. And now you move differently. You walk with purpose. You speak with certainty. You act with precision. And they feel it. They feel it. You want to know what happens when you reach this level. They start watching you. They start studying you. The same people who dismissed you. Now they hang on to every move you make. The same people who laughed at you. Now they fear your silence. Because they know they are no longer in control. And now the only question left is, what will you do next? Because you are no longer the underdog. You are no longer the one struggling for a seat at the table. You are the table. You decide. You build. You move on your own terms. And those who once doubted you, now they either respect you or they fear you. Either way, they no longer ignore you. So keep going. Keep moving forward. Keep building yourself in silence. Because the truth is, the more you evolve, the less they can touch you, the less they can reach you, the less they even matter. You walked through fire, and now you're the one they fear. If you're ready to keep moving forward, subscribe now. Because this is only the beginning.